Okay, another day. We just had the engine from the white S6 Avant picked up. It is on its way to Pennsylvania, I believe, eventually, by way of Minnesota. Been working on the coupe a little bit, in the sense that we haven't been working on the coupe. We did fill it with coolant and stuff like that, but I just moved it and had a little bit of oil and a little bit of, actually a lot bit of coolant. It looked like it was the top oil feed line that's on the turbo. It's loud out here by the street. Let's see if I can open my car up, please. Come on. So just these two bolts here, we tighten them up, and hopefully that will do the trick there. Now the coolant, story of the missing coolant. Probably gonna have to jack it up and get under there and take a look, figure out why my coolant keeps disappearing on me. I just don't know why. It appears to be a slow leak because I've filled it and then it slowly leaks out. The funny thing is like the first time I filled it up, it didn't leak at all, or at least I didn't see anything on the ground. This time when I topped it back off, which I thought it was just a top off, it drained out again. So now I got to figure out where it's leaking from. I have a feeling it might be the hose on the backside of the radiator. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's just a bad connection, and I'll just have to tighten that up. I don't see any other, like, none of these coolant lines look bad. None of them look like they're leaking. Nothing looks wet. This just looks empty, very empty. So I gotta figure out where the hell all my coolant's going. So that's the next step. Then we'll start putting the front end back onto it. I just backed it up so that we could get the engine out of here. So yeah, let's start working on it. Maybe we'll put the rest of the interior back together today, and then try to figure out the story of the missing coolant. Trying to track down the leak. I see it dripping off the pan here. I was hoping it was like this guy. That would have been awesome. But I don't see it. I see it here, and it's coming from up higher. So I might have to put a little bit of like distilled water or something in there and take a peek. Yeah, I was hoping like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's something simple. I'm an optimist. What can I say? Apparently it's not something that simple, which sucks. So if it's something else behind this shrouding, I'm going to probably just cut it out and call it a day, because I'm sick and tired of working around the shrouding. I understand why people don't put it back in. I'm kidding, but I am frustrated with it. So, yeah, I guess it's back up top again to find out where my leak is happening. So much fun. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but I put water into there, just distilled water. I'm watching the water manifold and everything that's on this side of the engine, and I don't see any water actively leaking. This isn't really going down much at all. I do see this. I don't know if you can tell, but there's bubbles coming out of that X piston cover cap thing on the power steering pump. That could explain some of the groaning. So we'll probably need a new seal there. Okay, so we ran it for a couple minutes here, just to let water circulate, but I don't see any water coming out. I thought maybe it was somewhere around the water manifold, maybe one of the sensors that I put on there needed a new crush washer or something like that. No dice. Water's still full, so whatever it is, it's a very slow leak, or it only happens when it gets cold out and then something lets loose. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you could hear, but I am getting some bubbling around my this X plug. There's a little washer, or not a washer, there's an O-ring on the inside of that often wears out, so it might be toast, but we were getting air bubbles all around here. So I think that that might be part of my problem with the power steering pump making a lot of noise. So maybe I'll replace that O-ring, see if it helps. If not, I have spare pumps. I can just replace the whole pump. But that'd be like the 4th time I took that pump off, and I don't feel like taking it off if I don't have to. So, yeah, I got to figure out where this water is coming from and why it's coming from. So we'll play with it. It's not very inspiring. So I tightened the oil feed line on top of the turbo, and it doesn't look like it leaked any overnight. So that's good. And like I said, I've ran it a few times just to see. Definitely looks drier. Don't know if you can actually see it, but looks a little drier. Luckily, those are actually really accessible from the top. So we were able to just put an extension on there and tighten it right up. Yeah, still going to try to track down these last few things and hopefully get them dialed so that this car can be driven and used, and we can have good times in the winter and slide around in the snow and do all those kind of things. Hello again, Broken Quattros, and this is my Broken Quattro. I am working on trying to get the B4 hood onto the car. Yeah, just want to do this really fast, but it's been really cold and wet and snowy, and right now the snow is melted, but it's still like 28 degrees, I think, right now. So still very cold, but we're going to get out here and try to get some work done. So we're going to pop off this hood, put the other hood on, see if we can get it aligned decently by myself. It kind of sucks aligning it by yourself, but it's possible. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. Okay, I didn't film a lot of the process of putting on the hood, but I was going to show the after effect. So this is popped but not open. So you can see we got like a really, really smooth and consistent gap all the way up. Same over here. We got nice and even. Yeah, everything lines up. It latches well. So I just kind of want to go over some of the tips and tricks. When you are installing your hood, remove this grill first. That allows you a little bit of access to the release levers in case it's not working. You don't have to break out your grill in case things are off. These guys often need to be readjusted and changed, and when you can loosen them and then they can kind of shift around and play. You have these 2 bolts down here and 2 bolts on the other side. What I like to do is I like to set it, generally what I do is I try to follow the old outline of the bolt pattern and tighten it down there. And that's my starting point. And then I normally have it just snug. That way you can still adjust. You can move it in and out, side to side a little bit with it down. So like I'll put it down with these tight, but not tight. So snug, but not tight. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And then we'll kind of shift the hood around a little bit, back, forward, whatever. See where it looks good. We'll snug it up a little bit more. Recheck, check, open, close, open, close. Try to figure out what sits best until you finally get that good closure. It sits at the right height. That's the other thing you kind of have to watch for. With these, and then also with these guys, these are little rubber stoppers that sit right where you can see this little clean spot, and those will actually hold the hood upwards. So when you're looking at it, you can see like this lines up really, really nice. and that has to do with that stopping place. So we get these really nice gaps throughout that just look smooth and nice, but we also get the right height. Oops, my rubber seal there is poking out a little bit, but this is sitting at the right height. Obviously this needs to be painted. Obviously that's going to happen, but we at least we have it on and installed and adjusted correctly for proper gaps. Obviously it's like the Technicolor dream car here, all these different colors going on. We'll get that all sorted and it'll look better, but it's sitting nicely, looks good, and yeah, one step closer. Okay, just to follow up really quickly, a couple things have happened and I didn't film a lot of it, so I just kind of wanted to do a verbal thing. So I had that coolant leak. I don't know what it was. The truth is, I tightened up a few hoses just to make sure, and it must have been something because it's not leaking anymore. Haven't lost any coolant, and it's holding pressure. So we're checking that off the list for now, unless something comes back to haunt me. But it's been working, and we're doing good. We did two other things that I did not film. So one of the big things was we got it aligned. I think I have a couple photos just from like it being down there, but I had very little to do in that process. There's this guy, actually it's kind of sad. I must have been one of his last customers the week after he sold off the business and he was no longer doing it himself. But this guy, Russ, he's been doing it for years and years and years. He's one of the only people who don't complain about the old cars. So I like to take him my cars. The pricing is really reasonable and he does a really good job. And unfortunately, he's now closed. But we took it down to him. We got it aligned. Everything's good. After that, I took it just back to work, left it at work. And the next couple days, I took it over to the exhaust shop that's right next to my work and had them tie in. So this had an aftermarket cat on it that actually was hollow. It had the stock middle box, and then it had a what is it? CAC, Custom Autocraft, yeah, CAC rear box. I ended up I had a Stabro middle and rear, and then I also had a stock catalytic converter, so I had that put on. It has a 3B S2 downpipe connected to V-band, where I had them add the V-band onto my stock OEM 7A cat. And then that goes into the Stabro, and then the Stabro rear box. So now the exhaust is all tied in, and it's a lot quieter. Maybe a little too quiet, actually, but that's, I don't know. That's for you to decide. And then it's aligned. So now it's running, driving, and I'm just trying to figure out the other things. The next big issue to address is lighting. And when I say lighting, I really mean rear taillights. Things are happening. The next video will be about troubleshooting all that stuff. So yeah, not fun stuff. I hate electrical. It's the worst. And there were so many things that were wrong that I just didn't know where to start. Thanks for watching.